Yes. I watch things on TikTok. I don't put anything like of my own content on TikTok.
So we need video here, Sam. So have you seen the trend on TikTok where, and this is the name of the video, Aaron sent this to me. Liberal white women are going and get their booster shots for COVID just to spite RFK Jr.
Well, have at it, ladies.
It's like, knock yourselves out. Here's the audio to one such video, and if you're watching on Super Talk TV, you can see this as well. I apologize for the F-bomb that you're seeing, but it says, just so you know, F-U, RFK, vaccines save lives, you hack. And they are filming themselves getting the COVID booster shots, and they're also making fun of how RFK Jr. sounds.
Hey, everybody. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. here, your new king of healthcare. I'm trying to audition for Saturday Night Live. I think that's what I'm going to do on Saturday night.
That's sick.
Isn't that just...
Yeah.
Just sick. And I'm like, and I'm with you. It's like, listen, you knock yourselves out. And you may with all of those shots. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see why they would do that. Who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody, a political person. And he said that the key, this was kind of funny actually. The key to Republican victories are liberal white women acting ridiculous. Because that's what he is seeing. That's he's a watcher of politics. And you go out and you look at some of these rallies out there in some of the, anti-Trump places. And I'm going to air quote this. They're all liberal white women. There was a video from Asheville, North Carolina. And it was an anti-Trump rally. I forget what exactly the rally was called or the protest was called. Oh, you know what it was? It was Workers Over Billionaires. It was the Workers Over Billionaires protest. And one of the things that the folks that were posting the video said, there's like no black people. They're all old white hippies, and a lot of them were women. So I think, and I don't know if there's any veracity to the whole, liberal white women doing what they do is the key to Republican victory. I don't know. I have no idea. But I think that the mentality of getting all of those booster shots just to spite a politician, and so you can put it on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, it is absolutely, listen, I'm very pro-choice in that sense. You want to go do that, knock yourself out, but I think you're an idiot. It is my choice to call you an idiot. And especially for making fun of the way the man talks.
Yeah, since, the party of love and compassion is going to mock a medical condition that he can't change about himself, that's, par for the course.
That is very liberal. By the way, Bernie Sanders wants him to resign, wants RFK Jr. to resign. And the crazy thing is, I got the very specific impression that Scott Desjardins, not a big fan of RFK Jr. in my interview with him yesterday. If you want to check it out, you can. We podcast it. But RFK Jr. is trying to get the bad stuff out of food, like the red dye, right? He's trying to do that. I think he did do that. But he also wants these vaccines to go through the proper testing, the proper vetting, and all that kind of stuff. And, I get that he's not everybody's cup of tea, but, and I said this the other day, look at what America looks like right now, and look at what America is going through. We do, in my opinion, we do have too many vaccines. We are sickly, and our kids are way over-medicated, way, in my opinion, over-vaxxed. And something's going on. We have kids that are, depression is at an all-time high. You've got, obviously, school shootings. I don't want to get into that today, but, school shootings keep happening as well. So there's something going on with the kids of today. And I get that there's a lot of different factors here. There is social media. There is, gaming and all that. I get that there's a lot of things going on. But RFK Jr. is simply trying to find a solution to the problems within our younger generation. And like him or not, it's a free country, and Donald Trump is a duly elected president of the United States, and he wanted RFK Jr. to be in his administration as head of HHS. So that's what we got. And there's a lot, and I believe there are just as many people who love what RFK Jr. is doing than people that hate what RFK Jr. is doing. So, but here's the thing. People are noticing, and I like that, especially Bernie Sanders, balloon hair Bernie. And he is talking about how he wants RFK Jr. to resign. And obviously, I'm reasonably certain that RFK Jr. is not going to, step up on that and do that. But here is balloon hair Bernie. This is a video.
Called for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to resign. My guess is he will not be taking your advice. So what would the next step be?
Well, I think we've got to rally the American people. This is a huge issue. Look, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. But I do talk to scientists and I do talk to doctors.
Oh, my God. Did you hear that?
Can you play the end of it again?
Bernie's, it's not even done yet.
Oh,
but
okay.
Bernie Sanders says, well, I'm not a doctor or a scientist, but I talk to doctors and I talk to scientists. Really? How much time did you spend with Dr. Anthony Fauci, you moron? Gosh almighty.
Called for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to resign. My guess is he will not be taking your advice. So what would the next step be?
Well, I think we've got to rally the American people. This is a huge issue. Look, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. But I do talk to scientists and I do talk to doctors. And the evidence is overwhelming. It's not contestable. Vaccines work. They save millions and millions of lives. And if Kennedy and his friends are able to make people think that vaccines are not safe, it would be a real public health crisis for America.
I mean, one of the things that Kennedy is doing is he's simply calling for more testing, and he wants to ensure that the people of America are able to make decisions with all of the information. And he wants them tested as well. So I don't know, whatever. I mean, we'll have to see where this whole thing goes. Myself, I like where RFK Jr. is going, and I think that he's doing a lot of great things. But you know what? All these people that are speaking right now were huge fans of Dr. Anthony Fauci, right? Huge fans of Dr. Fauci. And Bernie Sanders and people of his ilk, they were among those who wanted people who were calling into question the lockdowns and the vaccines and all of that stuff. They were championing those people getting deplatformed and shut down and all of that. So the opinion of Bernie Sanders really is irrelevant to me, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, we're talking off the air, Sam, about what did you call it? The greatest censorship act ever during COVID?
Yeah, the greatest act of censorship in I would say world history, probably.
Yeah, I don't think my Facebook has ever recovered because I was posting stuff, like that. Like, what the heck are we doing with these lockdowns and some other things? And I still feel like I'm being censored. What'd you say, Joan?
Shadow banned?
Shadow
Did you get a lot of
banned,
that?
throttled.
Yeah.
All that
yeah.
kind of stuff.
Me too.
I mean, and Facebook has said that they have taken all of that off, but I don't, here's what I don't understand, is that I can have, at last check, I don't have my Facebook in front of me, but at last check, I had like 13,459 followers on Facebook, not that I obsess, and I will post something, and somehow I get literally no responses and no reaction. So you're telling me out of 13,000 some followers on Facebook, I post something that is absolutely, and I'm going to say, a lot of the people that follow me on social media, they are, I've got 17,000 followers. That makes it even worse. So, and most of my followers, they follow me because I am conservative. I will post something that is absolute red meat, and I get no response.
It happens,
I don't get it.
It happens privately, too. On my Facebook, I've got a few hundred friends, and I'll post something to my story that's, I don't know, pretty picture or me at work or something. 20, 30 people view it and can see it.
Right.
I post something political to that story, all of a sudden I'm seeing 1 to 2 people look at it. And that's my mom and my aunt that look at my stuff every day.
Yeah. So, but here's the, and then we're going to move on. But you know what the tough thing is? Like, I cannot buy a follower on Rumble. Like, I just can't. And so I've kind of given up on Rumble because I posted videos and they're very conservative and I get a few reactions, but really no followers on it. And so it's frustrating because I've got 17,000 followers on Facebook. I've got, 10,400 followers on Twitter. But when it comes to the other social media, I'm just striking out. Feel free to say something while I'm drinking, Sam, Joan, Jiminy Crickets.
At least you have us.
Sure, yes. So next time and you know what, folks, and by the way, Sam, I'm sorry to hear that you only have a couple hundred friends.
They're friends, not followers.
I've got 5,000 friends too.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You want to borrow some?
No, I like to have a clean feed, I don't want to be clogged up with Susie's lunch from last week.
Oh, whatever. You know, the Venezuelan president is out there saying that the video of Donald Trump and our military blowing their drug boat to smithereens, do you know that they're saying that is AI generated and that it never actually happened?
Well,
yeah.
Of course he is.
Well, I don't think he's very smart, but it's also in country propaganda, right? Venezuela. So, because he doesn't want the people of Venezuela to know that their boat got blown to smithereens. But Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, they're actually out there saying, you know what? We'll do it again. The President Trump has been enjoying the success of his bombing of that boat carrying drug traffickers and also the drugs itself. And this is what Donald Trump had to say about that attack. This was yesterday.
On the boat, you had massive amounts of drugs. We have tapes of them speaking. It was massive amounts of drugs coming into our country to kill a lot of people. And everybody fully understands that. In fact, you see it. You see the bags of drugs all over the boat. And they were hit. Obviously, they won't be doing it again. And I think a lot of other people won't be doing it again when they watch that tape. They're going to say, let's not do this. We have to protect our country, and we're going to. Venezuela's been a very bad actor. They've been, as you know, they've been sending millions of people into our country, many of them Tren de Aragua, some of the worst gangs, some of the worst people anywhere in the world in terms of gangs. And we had some in Washington, D.C. We took care of them very quickly.
You know, what's interesting about all of that is that Trump is doing something. I mean, we went 4 years with Biden who he didn't do anything. And so, part of it, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, where the media was calling this, a major escalation. And I think I said this yesterday on the air where I said, I welcome an escalation because we haven't been doing jack or anything else in dealing with all the drugs coming in, not only from Venezuela, but also China.
So on the AI claim, found that, and apparently, Freddy Nanez, Venezuela's Minister of Communications and Information, claimed on social media that, quote, several elements in the video shared by President Donald Trump suggested it was generated by artificial intelligence. Included in the post was a conversation that Nanez allegedly had with Gemini, Google's AI chatbot, which they then questioned the validity of the video. And Gemini said, based on the provided video, it's highly likely it was created using artificial intelligence. So Google is suggesting that.
Yeah.
Which is an algorithmic issue for one. And for two, can it read thermal? That's a thermal video. That's in the dead of night. Those guys had no idea that was coming. I doubt it can read that at this point.
I'm not taking Venezuela's word over Donald Trump's. That's number one. And number two, I think that we should keep it up. I think that actually did happen. Sam and Joan, I don't know which one of you two is making us late, but stop it already.
Of course, it's our fault.
Absolutely it is.
Couldn't be yours.
By the way, did you see what Tammy said on the super text line? Joan, not that you need my permission, but I give you permission to smack Dan.
Yeah, and there was another one. Hold on. Stop ogling her tomatoes in the cheer outfit, Dan.
Stop Andy ogling her tomatoes, Dan.
Ba-da-ba. All right, real quick. I want to get back to, because, the media is hyperventilating over Trump taking out the Venezuela drug boat. And so they run to J.D. Vance, Vice President J.D. Vance, who is, by the way, there to talk about the family that he met. He met the families of the kids who were shot and injured and shot and killed in Minnesota. So that's what he wanted to talk about. But instead, of course, the media is asking for the legal authority that Donald Trump used to take out that drug boat from Venezuela. This is what he said.
On the Venezuela vessel strike, what legal authority were you guys working under, and will there be an after report on the strike?
Well, I'm sure there's going to be an after report. I mean, the legal authority, and I want to talk about these kids, is that there are people who are bringing literal terrorists who are bringing deadly drugs into our country, and the President of the United States ran on a promise of stopping this poison from coming into our country. Another question?
Yeah, I like that. Another question? Who's got a relevant question to ask? Now, listen, I suppose and I guess that the media feel like they're just doing their jobs, and that's fine. But my point is that it does seem like, I don't know, just a dumb question in the sense that here we are as a nation trying to protect our kids, our families, and our friends from these awful drugs that have been coming across our border. And the media is going to, wrap this up in a, oh, my gosh, Donald Trump, he didn't follow the law. I mean, it just seems ridiculous to me. And I'm sorry that the media is choosing to do that. But do you know what the funny thing is? I'm really actually not surprised because this is what the media does. And it's always so incredibly infuriating. But, the more that you cover Donald Trump and the more that you cover this media as they continue to cover the president and J.D. Vance, it is obvious that they're always going to take the side of the bad guy. And it seems like this reporter is questioning whether Trump had the legal authority to blow up a boat filled with a bunch of drugs and drug dealers coming to America. I don't know. I don't understand why they continuously do this.
When you had Kash Patel yesterday, did you see the arrests that were made or the indictments that were handed out in Ohio?
No.
Grand jury indicts 3 U.S. citizens, 22 Chinese nationals, 4 Chinese pharmaceutical companies in international drug trafficking, money laundering conspiracies.
No kidding.
That was all FBI.
All right. Yeah, listen, I think, do you know what's interesting? Who were the most vilified? And Joan, you can play on this too. Who were the most vilified of the Trump cabinet members when they were coming up for their Senate confirmation hearings? It was Kash Patel, it was Tulsi Gabbard, and it was Pete Hegseth.
Mm-hmm. Pete Hegseth.
Yeah, Pete Hegseth.
I think Pete Hegseth, and I think that Pete Hegseth has done a great job. Now, there are rumblings, within the Defense Department that people don't like Pete Hegseth. But here's the thing. There's always going to be rumblings like that because it's just part of the job of being in management. I mean,
you're not supposed to like your boss.
You're not supposed to like the boss. I mean, and Hegseth knows that. So for me, I just thought, when I saw and see those stories where, the people in the Defense Department, they're quitting and they don't like Pete Hegseth. Well, you know what? Here's what I know. What I know is that we took out Iran's nuclear abilities. That's number one. Number two is we have we have recruitment that is up because people appreciate what Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump represent. And so it seems to me like just on the surface, he's doing a great job. And also remember that the media is always looking for an angle to try to criticize the Trump administration and the folks within his cabinet. So to me, it is rather ridiculous. Real quickly, then I am going to move on, I promise. Marco Rubio was asked, and I've got double audio playing. This is so frustrating when this happens. Marco Rubio is talking about the situation with the Venezuelans and whether or not the Trump administration is going to go after more of these Venezuelan boats. And Rubio is saying, you know what? Absolutely, we're going to go after these Venezuelan ships. You know why? Because they keep coming. And we've known that this has been a problem for a long time. And because it's been a problem for a long time, we're going to, you know what it sounds like they're going to do? It sounds like what they're going to do is they are going to bomb now and ask questions later. That's what I think that they are going to do. So, and I think for the Trump administration, I think that this is really something that they do need to do because they need to protect the American people. And I hope that they don't get, pardon the expression, but I hope that they don't get gun shy in trying to take out these Venezuelans. And part of this, Maduro, the Venezuelan president, he has been trying to destabilize America for a long time. And everybody knows that. Everybody knows that Nicolas Maduro is somebody who has been trying to take out America for a long time. Of course, we know that they've got a lot of oil, but we also know that they have been trying to destabilize America with China and Russia and North Korea as well. And it's part of what they're trying to do. And I think that part of what needs to happen is we really do need to continuously define our enemies and continuously remind the media who our enemies are. And clearly, Venezuela is an enemy. So we'll continue to talk about that and a whole lot more. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I want to play this piece of audio with J.D. Vance because I like what J.D. Vance had to say as he was talking about spending time with those families in Minnesota, because I thought that it was an amazing conversation that he had. And part of this is I want to relate this back to the Democrats as they were mocking prayer. Remember that whole thing after the Minnesota shooting where it was like, thoughts and prayers is a lie, and they insulted every single Christian in America, it seems to me. This is what J.D. Vance had to say, and this is why I think Donald Trump is sending him on these very important missions, is because he is so incredibly likable and eloquent. Listen to this.
I have never had a day that will stay with me like this day did, because I really felt like these parents, in the midst of the worst grief of their entire lives, they opened up their lives and they opened up their hearts and they made me part of it. So I'd ask a couple of things, straight from the parents and straight from the families to my fellow Americans. First of all, while 2 kids lost their lives, there's still 1 kid that's in very serious condition, and every single family, the family of Lydia, who luckily recovered, but we visited her in the hospital, the family of the 2 who died, Harper and Fletcher, all 3 of those families said, please say a prayer. So to my fellow Americans, if you're the praying type, say a prayer for this innocent girl who's actually in surgery right now, that the swelling will go down, that she will be okay, because she's still in a fight for her life, and every single family to a person is desperate that the death toll, which currently is at 2, stays at 2. And I think if you're a praying type, you ought to say a prayer for this innocent young girl. The second thing that I'd say is, look, I'm speaking to my fellow Americans who are parents in particular. There is nothing that you can say that can take away the grief that these parents are dealing with. There is no word that can possibly describe the feeling or the emotion or the heartbreak. One of the ways that I'm going to try to honor these parents and the children that they lost is by being a better dad and hugging my kids tight tonight and making sure that they know that their dad loves them, because there are 2 families who are not going to get that opportunity ever again. And if you do have kids, if you're lucky enough to have a son or a daughter, make sure that they know that they love you. Make sure that you hug your kids tight, because there are families in Minneapolis who won't be able to do that ever again.
J.D. Vance. Really, really smart, really, really good. And you know what the thing is about the Democrats? Why is it they have to mock everything that conservatives stand for? I mean, here we are as I realize that, there's a lot of people that are not Christians, but, there's a lot of people who are Christians. There's a lot of people that do pray, and they do pray daily. They especially pray when horrific things happen. And the Democrats, with that whole the thoughts and prayers are a lie, really what they were doing is they were mocking prayer. And I don't know what it is about the Democrats. I don't know what it is about this mentality that they have, that they think that they are so much better than conservatives. They think that they're so much better than Republicans that they feel like it's okay to mock everything that we stand for, whether it is, the Second Amendment, whether it is the Bible, whether it is our belief in God, whether it is our belief in prayer. They continue to do this. And I've got, in the 8 o'clock hour, I'm going to play some audio because, and maybe I'll name this segment, I'll call this segment, how's that working out for you with the Democrats? Because I'm going to tell you, based on the latest polling, it's not.